Welcome to the Switchblade Sisters Social Club, a true crime podcast where two sisters exploit their worst fears for your entertainment. You're welcome. I'm Dee.
And I'm Randa, and together we are the Sake Sisters. For more information, check out our website at www.switchbladesistersocialclub.com or find us on Instagram and Facebook at Switchblade Sisters Social Club.
Thanks for listening. Hi, this is Switchblade Sisters Social Club, where two sisters exploit their worst fears for your entertainment. You're welcome. I'm Dee.
And I'm Randa.
So, I'm going to show you something and you're going to love it. It's my new t-shirt dress. It's meant to be a t-shirt, but it's very big. So it's a t-shirt dress. Yeah? Okay, so you know our favorite Sam?
Yes.
Yes, you do. Sam Dutton, Lazy Mule. Check him out on Instagram. Does these amazing portraits, right?
Mm-hmm.
Different famous people. Look at this.
Oh my God, I coughed. Oh my God, I love that. Is that one of his drawings?
Yes.
Jesus Christ. He's so
and
good.
Do you want to hear? He's so good. I don't know how people
It looks like a photograph.
Right? And I tell you something hilarious. I went to a podcast convention this week, which was super interesting. Thanks, Pod. But I wore this and I was on the train and there was someone wearing a Tupac t-shirt.
Love it.
And I was like, if he notices, do we have to fight?
I know, it's almost like you've got to say something because it's weird if you don't.
Can't not. I don't think he noticed me. Funny. So or my t-shirt anyway. So so loving my new
you know what's so funny? Like Deanna's wearing a Notorious B.I.G. t-shirt, by the way.
Sorry.
For those who can't see. And it's so funny because we used to call my dad, although he hates it, the Notorious Refugee.
I forgot.
Yeah, he hates that name.
All right. Well, I have got my Kraken and Coke, as is becoming my habit.
Mm-hmm.
I won't say daily habit, but too often habit. And I'm really excited because today I get to tell you. Just tell me the fucking story.
Oh my God, I thought you were presenting. I was like, no, it's me. Can I also just tell you a story?
Yes. Is it a crime story? Because that would be very convenient for this true crime podcast.
It is definitely related to some things we talked about. Okay, so, oh my God. Okay, so this week, I get a call from the kids' school. And every time they call, it's either I love the school, love the teachers, love everything about them. It's either oh, your kids are doing really well, love it, they're doing amazing.
Or Chase been up to something.
Yeah. So they called me, the teacher called me, and I love her. She's amazing. And she's like, he was drawing comic strips, and then in one of the speech bubbles, he colored it in black, and he was mentioning black thoughts. I was like, oh God. I instantly knew our mother had something to do with it.
And I hear he was also giving them, making them swear. But
oh God, yeah. Okay, so I knew our mother had something to do with this, but obviously it's always a little uncomfortable conversation when the school calls you and says your son's talking about black thoughts. Jesus. So anyway, did some investigation, spoke to our Doris Day hating mother, and she's been teaching him French via the means of French comic strip books, and they are clearly not quite as child friendly as English comic books, even though this is for primary aged kids. So they've got swear words in the comic books, but when they put symbols instead of the word. But still, she had to explain these are swear words. Anyway, and then it was due to her not having English as her first language and poor translation that instead of saying sad thoughts, she said black thoughts. Therefore, making him sound like a fucking psycho.
Oh, bless him.
So I had to, his teacher was like, yeah, don't worry, it's fine. Obviously, they have to just let you know. But I was like, for fuck's sake, our mother. It's not the 80s anymore. You can't just get away with this shit.
The comics she's reading are from when we were kids and when she was a kid. I think they're
Yeah.
so they've not progressed much.
Oh God, yeah. Even Roald Dahl books. Like back in the day, we didn't think anything of it. Now it's full of like words that like kids aren't allowed.
Body shaming and
Oh yeah, you can't even say stupid anymore, which I get. I wouldn't let the kids use the word stupid, but um snot stain.
I mean that's funny.
It
That's
is
not
funny.
PC.
No, I know, but it's like, oh my God, I'm trying so fucking hard to like be a decent parent, and our mother comes in and fucks it.
I know.
And
How
I
does everything with her become a safeguarding issue?
Yes, anyway, just that's a little PSA to make sure when you explain things to kids, use the correct terminology.
So you got to tell me the fucking story or
Oh,
what?
yes. Okay. I'm telling you the story.
Because you
So,
said to me that it was a good one, and ever since you said that, I'm like, oh, can I wait?
oh, did I say that? I think all.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I will have to lock that. Oh, no, she's not. Okay. Okay. So today I'm going to talk about a story that I know that you know, but I don't know if you know all the details.
I
So,
rarely do.
okay, so I'm going to talk about Dorothy Stratten. Do you remember her name? Okay,
Okay,
so
good.
Dorothy Stratten, her full name was Dorothy Ruth Stratten, known professionally as Dorothy Stratten. She was a Canadian model and actress known for being a Playboy playmate. So her parents were from Holland and they emigrated to Canada. And she was born in Vancouver, British Columbia on February 28th, 1960, to Simon and Nellie, who emigrated from the Netherlands. So Dorothy was a Playboy Playmate of the Month in August 1979 and Playmate of the Year in 1980. And she was sadly murdered shortly after starring in the movie she was murdered shortly after starring in the movie Galaxina at the age of 20. So she died so young.
Fuck.
Like, yeah, 20. But she actually did so much before the age of 20, like starred in quite a lot of films. And yeah, so it's crazy because I was thinking, God, a 20-year-old back in the day, because they were allowed, in a weird way, allowed to do a lot more at a young age than teenagers.
Rightly or wrongly.
Yeah,
We're not
yeah.
judging, but
Yeah. So she was murdered by her estranged husband and manager, Paul Snider, who was a bad guy. He was a bad guy. And she was actually in the process of divorcing him and breaking business ties with him at the time. So it was like a revenge killing. He then committed suicide just after he killed Dorothy. So
that's an easy out for him.
Yeah. Dorothy's death inspired two movies, a book, and several songs. The 1981 movie Death of a Centerfold, the 1983 theatrical motion picture Star 80, the book The Killing of the Unicorn, and the songs Californication by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I didn't know that. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
No, that was interesting. The Best Was Yet to Come by Bryan Adams and Cover Girl by Prism. And also, interestingly, I tried to find it, but I don't have, it's only on Hulu and I don't have that. Victoria Beckham's daughter-in-law starred in a movie about her as her. She's an actress. Yeah, so I would have liked to see that, but I don't have Hulu. So in 1977, Dorothy was attending high school and working part-time at a local Dairy Queen when she met 26-year-old Vancouver area club promoter and pimp Paul Snider, and they began dating. He was already a pimp when she met him.
And dating a 17-year-old.
Yeah, so he's an older guy preying on a younger girl, and he saw her as the meal ticket. And also,
I'm assuming she was stunning as well as charismatic.
Yeah, and so her dad left when she was very young. So one of the things I heard in a podcast was that, she didn't have a father figure in her life, and so she kind of welcomed an older man who probably promised to look after her and was probably quite charming himself in the beginning. So
narcissists are normally very charming.
Yeah. So Snider later had a photographer take professional nude photos of Dorothy, which were sent to Playboy magazine in the summer of 1978. And because she was under the age of 19, which is the legal age of majority in British Columbia at the time, she had to persuade her mother to sign the model release form. And it actually took her 2 weeks to agree to pose nude because she didn't really want to. Because she was actually described as very naive. And if you see TV interviews with her, she's very sweet, very naive, very almost childlike, not childish, but like childlike. I mean, she's 20 or under the age of 20 when she's doing all these things. Like, I mean, if you think about teenage, it's like a teenager. Do you know what I mean? We're not talking like an adult,
I was going to say, is she actually naive or is she just 17?
Yeah, well, that's it. Exactly. Yeah. And yeah, exactly. So in 1978, she moved to LA, where she was chosen to be the finalist for the 25th anniversary Great Playmate Hunt. And the other thing is, her mother did sign the release form for her to pose for these pictures, but
Not loving that.
Yeah, don't love that. But in her defense, they were from a very low income family. They both worked a lot. You know, she'd been working at Dairy Queen for several years by that point. Her mother was a single mother. It probably seemed like a good financial prospect. And Snider joined her in October, and they married in June the following year. And she became Playboy's Miss August 1979 and began working as a bunny at the Playboy Club in LA. And
see, I didn't know that he was from Canada as well.
Yeah.
And so she was literally his meal ticket to LA.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So Hugh Hefner, she was close with Hugh Hefner, as he is with his, Playboy bunnies. I think that guy's fucking gross. But anyway.
He's dead now, right?
Yeah, he's dead. And a lot of the Playboy bunnies that were his girlfriends have come out since and said that he was just horrendous, which you can imagine. I mean,
hell surprise.
Yeah. So Hugh Hefner had high hopes that Dorothy could have a meaningful crossover success as an actress. And she featured in episodes of the TV series Buck Rogers and Fantasy Island as well.
I'm guessing, that he probably gets like a finder's fee or commission if any of his Playboy bunnies do any.
Oh, God, that guy is so entrepreneurial that I can imagine someone like
right?
him doesn't do anything without financial gain. Yeah.
Because I was going to say, it's not going to be for her, the love of this girl and wanting her to be a success.
Hugh Hefner comes up a lot in the research because he was protective over her and he was not a fan of Snider, her husband.
Probably because it was another guy having a controlling influence over her.
Yeah. And also it can harm the reputation of his magazine, although not the best reputation in the first place, but you know what I mean. So Hefner reportedly encouraged Dorothy to sever ties with Paul Snider, let's call him, calling him a hustler and a pimp, which is exactly what he was. He was actually a pimp. Like, he was pimping out before he moved to LA. So when he was still in Canada, he was actually pimping out girls from a gold limousine, I'm guessing this guy was just so money orientated, but so talentless, but very manipulative. And so he thought, my only way to really actually be successful financially is to use others. Dorothy's friends and other people working in the Playboy organization were warning her about Snider's behavior. So he was just universally not liked. So his earlier years, he was born in 1951 in Vancouver, and he led a life of hustling. He was very, very, money oriented. He grew up in a rough area in Vancouver, and his parents divorced when he was young, and he dropped out of school after 7th grade to fend for himself. And he was always really skinny. So he started working out, and within a year, he bulked up and caught the attention of the ladies. And he began to go to nightclubs with his good looks. I disagree, but that's how he's described, and perfectly groomed mustache. He had a legitimate business as a promoter for auto shows at the Pacific National Exhibition, but he wanted more. So he turned to the Rounder Crowd, which is a drug gang in Vancouver. And a fellow gang member said about Snider, nobody trusted him. He finally lost a lot of money to loan sharks, and the Rounder Crowd hung him by his ankles from the 30th floor of a hotel. He had to leave town. So, I mean, even gang members didn't fucking trust this guy,
More like him.
Yeah. So he was also a founding partner of the Chippendales. Interesting, which has its own scandals, which I won't cover here because that's a whole nother fucking 3-part series if you want to watch it on Amazon.
Yeah, really good series.
So Snider ended up in LA, where he tried pimping within Beverly Hills society. And after a few near misses with the law and women who stole from him, he ran back to Vancouver, where he met Dorothy. So that's his pre-story. Yeah. And Apparently, he didn't keep a low profile. He drove around in a black Corvette. He wore a mink coat, and he always wore like a big Star of David encrusted with jewels that he hung down on his chest. And he even called himself the Jewish pimp. That's how he was happy to refer to himself as a pimp. He wanted that reputation. And several people in Dorothy's orbit said they saw Snider as a predator who was looking for his golden ticket, or his meal ticket. That's just what he was known for. He was universally known to find women to make money from, But
hate him.
Yeah. As Dorothy became increasingly popular, his reputation started to dwindle and her friends didn't like him. And as of the 1980 Playmate of the Month, her name is Gina Keogh. And interestingly, when that name came up, I was like, oh my God, she was one of the Real Housewives of OC. She said about him, he wasn't afraid to step out. He wasn't afraid to step out on his wife while at her place of work. He would be in the grotto trying to make out with the other girls. The grotto is in Hugh Hefner's mansion. And you have the most beautiful girl at the mansion. She told, Gina Keogh told ABC News. So the guy was just, we can all work out what he was like. He was entirely disliked by 90% of the people who knew him. Gina told Canadian Press. He was very brash, very demanding, wanted to tell people how great Paul Snider was. So you can imagine, as you said, narcissist. And other women said that he would always be complimenting them and that, he would be showering, when he first met Dorothy, showering her with expensive gifts, nice dinners, dresses to wear. He even took her to her senior prom, even though she was a teenager.
Why did they let that?
The 70s. So back to Playboy. When the magazine saw Dorothy's test shots, it arranged for her to fly down to LA, and it was her first time on an airplane and on a limo. And Vancouver photographer Ken Honey, this is what, oh, sorry, one second. So there's a lady called Marilyn Grabowski who is one of the Playboy photographers, and I've seen her in so many different documentaries about Hugh Hefner and Playboy. And she said that Vancouver photographer Ken Honey sent me the pictures and I wanted her on the next plane. And she said she's a total babe in the woods. I cannot remember another Playmate being that, I don't want to say naive, but inexperienced, unused to her surroundings and not used to thinking that she was beautiful. And so that comment kind of just solidifies the idea that like Dorothy was, naive, not really realizing the impact she had on people or, how stunning she was, and maybe not told that often before. Some people who have never been told that, and then suddenly they meet a partner who tells them that, it's a novelty, So when Dorothy arrived at the Playboy offices, Marilyn, the photographer, said she explained to Dorothy that they would take some test shots, send her home, and then let her know if she made the final cut. She didn't, unfortunately, make the final cut, and she lost out to somebody called Candy Loving, terrible name. And Gina Keogh, who you mentioned, who was one of the Real Housewives of OC, said Dorothy was just shy and she needed a lot of grooming. Bad choice of words. So they knew she wasn't ready yet, even though she was as beautiful as Candy Loving and could easily have been that special playmate. She wasn't ready.
Because she's a child still.
Exactly. But Hugh Hefner and Playboy were so thrilled with Dorothy's photos that he named her Miss August 1979. And as I said, she worked as a Playboy bunny at the Playboy Club in LA.
Which I'm sorry is worse than being in the magazines, I think, because then you're like face to face with,
and the men have access to you, which I think, God, what must that be like to have men that
you're not ready to have your photo taken, but you can be put in a room with all these people.
Yeah. And you can just imagine how much harassment they would have there, because the men will just think they're their toys to play with,
Yeah.
But Dr. Stephen Kushner, who was a close friend of Dorothy, said, I don't think she was allowed to serve alcohol because she was only 18. So she was kind of a door bunny that would greet people coming in. And he was also her housemate shortly before her murder. So suddenly, Dorothy found herself in the middle of some of Hollywood's most exclusive parties. It was all brand new to her, and she was excited, Marilyn, the photographer, said, but she also seemed overwhelmed and scared. So she stayed close to the one person she knew from back home, who was this motherfucker Snider. And she was on the phone with him daily when we shot her. Marilyn said she would call and tell him how great it was going. She thought that whatever success she was having, and it was embryonic at that point, was totally due to Paul. She leaned on him. And you can completely
Of
see that
course.
a child who grew up without a father figure,
Moving to another country, to a
yeah,
city like LA,
having a
being
dependency on somebody, and then also loving what she probably believes is caring attention from an older man, you know? So I feel sad for her. And so the marriage,
fuck all the adults in her life, to be honest,
I know,
though.
and her mother, like, I try not to be judgy, even though I am. And listening, whenever I listen back to our episodes, I'm like, fucking hell, I'm so judgy. But you know what? Yes, I am. Because when it comes down to like a mother letting their teenage daughter move to another country with an older man who has a bad reputation and letting them sell naked pictures,
To
yes, I'm
work for
judgy.
Playboy. Why wasn't the
Yeah,
mom at least there?
yeah, yeah. That's the thing.
At
Like,
least.
as much as I say I understand because they were from a low income family and they were financially struggling, I can understand why Dorothy might be inclined. I still don't understand why a mother would allow it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't judge people for sex work because it is a survival thing. I don't think anyone goes into it willingly. Often, I mean, more often than not, from what I've read, they've come from abuse themselves. But what I still can't understand is why the fucking mother, the parent, is okay with it. That's what I don't get. No matter what you've been through as a parent, I don't understand why you could be okay with that.
There's so many parts of that, like you said,
Yeah.
moving to another country for Playboy work with an older guy, blah, blah, blah. There's so many parts of that that just you would have thought would be red flags for a mom.
Yeah.
And, I'm sure she wasn't happy with it, but like,
She
go with
may have
her.
been, because if they were struggling financially, she may have thought this is her way to make money and we can all survive via that. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe she wasn't unhappy. Who knows? Maybe she was, maybe she wasn't. But at the end of the day, she signed that form. And, anyway, I am judgy. So their marriage turned sour, obviously. And Paul or Snider persuaded her to marry him, as he said, in 1979, just 18 months after meeting. And Dorothy was willing, saying that she can't ever imagine myself being with any other man but Paul. But the relationship was far from truly mutual, because he never let his wife control much of anything. And the couple rented a nice apartment in West LA, but the honeymoon phase didn't last. And then came the jealousy. So by that January, Dorothy's career was taking her further from the likes of Snider. When she starred in the comedy They All Laughed alongside Audrey Hepburn, her life seemed to have taken a turn both for the better, but ultimately for the worse. The film was directed by a guy called Peter Bogdanovich, a man who Dorothy met in 1979 at a roller disco party, which made me laugh because roller disco, that's so 70s, huh? He was instantly smitten with her and he wanted her in the movie. The filming started in March and wrapped up in mid-July. And for those months, she lived in his hotel suite and later in his home. So Snider became suspicious and frustrated and hired a private investigator. He actually at some point asked that private investigator to buy him a machine gun. And because he couldn't in the States as a Canadian national buy a shotgun or any sort of gun in the States. So he tried to get his PI to buy him a machine gun. The PI refused, and then he managed to get a shotgun on something like Craigslist, but not Craigslist because
the internet.
Yeah. So
I mean,
yeah,
why isn't the PI reported this guy?
the PI is probably not got the cleanest record himself.
I know, but
I
it's
mean,
like this guy is investigating his wife because he's jealous and then asking for a shotgun. It's like, oh, I wonder what's going to fucking happen here.
Yeah. So Dorothy's co-star Colleen Camp said that Bogdanovich, who's Peter, we'll call him Peter. When they're the good guys and the good people, I call them by their first name. When they're bad, then I dehumanize them and call them by their surname. Anyways, Peter was madly in love with Stratten. And they started a relationship, and Dorothy was ready to move on from Paul. And this all happened while she was, filming his movie. So once she and Peter returned from filming in New York, they moved in together. And Dorothy also met with Snider and revealed that she wanted a separation. So, the murder. On August 13th, 1980, which was the second anniversary of Dorothy's first arrival in LA, Snider bought a used 12 gauge pump action shotgun that he found in a local classified ad. And later that evening, in conversation with friends, Snider described how he had purchased a gun that day and finished his story by cryptically declaring that he was going to take hunting. And he casually brought up the subject of playmates who had unexpectedly died. In particular, he spoke about Claudia Jennings, an actress and former Playmate of the Year who had been killed in a car accident the year before. And he made several morbid remarks to his companions related to the problems at Playboy magazine caused by her death, including a comment about how the editors would pull nude photos of a dead Playmate from the next issue if there was time. And Dorothy arrived for her meeting with Snider at his rented LA house at approximately noon on August the 14th. She spent the morning conferring with her business manager about what to do. And one of the topics the pair discussed was the amount of property settlement Dorothy would offer Snider that afternoon. And the police later found $1,100 in cash in Dorothy's belongings at the house in her handbag, which she had brought for Snider as a down payment. And towards the end of her morning meeting, Dorothy's business manager made her a fateful observation. And he said that Dorothy could avoid spending any more time with Snider by handing off the remaining separation and divorce negotiations to her lawyer. But she wanted to do what she thought was the decent thing and see him in person. So Dorothy replied that the process would go easier if she dealt with Snider personally, explaining that he'd be nice about everything and finally adding, "I'd like to remain his friend," which made me so sad because you can tell that there's a good heart and a naivety there, you know? So Snider's two roommates had left in the morning. So the couple was alone when Dorothy stepped into the house that she shared with Snider until just a few months earlier. And by all appearances, Dorothy had spent some time in the living room, from what they investigated afterwards, where her purse was found lying open before she and Snider went into his bedroom. And on August 14th, Dorothy went over to the house, blah, 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 blah. Sorry, ignore that. I've said that already. And those close to her also expressed concern that she was going to go see him alone because he wasn't like, everyone knew he was a bad guy. Gina Keogh, who we mentioned earlier, said that Hugh Hefner kind of forbid her from going to see him. They totally forbid it. She had to sneak. She had to lie. She just misjudged that guy so badly. She just had that little flaw that was her flaw, not being able to see the evil in people.
Also, can I just say, having gone through a divorce and in particular helping a friend through a divorce at the moment, you think you know how your ex is going to act throughout the divorce. You think they're going to be decent with you, maybe if it starts off as an amicable-ish split. Mm-hmm. You never fucking know what bullshit they're going to pull on you. And this is an extreme example, but just little PSA from me, the divorcee. If you learn anything from me.
And also, you don't know who their advisors are. You know, suddenly their family becomes very money hungry. Suddenly their solicitors, advise them something that they may not have
even thought about. Yeah. Or suddenly they're trying to fucking reclaim money for furniture you bought. Yeah. Who knows, Adam?
So one of Dorothy's former roommates, who's still living with Snider's, said she was at the house on the morning, but she left because she knew Dorothy was coming to visit. And the other roommate said he hadn't been home all day because he spent the previous night at a girlfriend's home and then gone to work in the morning. So when they were both back at the home later that evening, the two roommates, they said that they saw Dorothy's car, which was a Mercury Cougar, and Snider's Mercedes. So both the cars were there. The roommates were not there when the murder had happened, but they came home afterwards and they were watching TV downstairs, and they just assumed that Snider and Dorothy had reconciled and were upstairs in the bedroom together, so they didn't want to disturb. After a few hours of silence, the roommates said they decided to knock on Snider's door, but there was no answer. Then one of the roommates opened the door, and he said it looked like it was a horror movie, a staged horror movie, like mannequins and fake blood. He said that picture never goes away, a mental picture that's stuck in here forever. And police later determined that Snider had raped Dorothy before he shot her in the face. Then turning the gun on himself, and she was only 20. And that is just horrendous that he raped her first, the ultimate degradation and revenge, and then shot her in the face. You know, that is just,
That's a level of hatred and anger.
yeah, yeah,
Oh, can you imagine walking into that? You wouldn't ever, every time you close your eyes, you would see that.
yeah. Um, so alerted by Snider's private detectives, the roommates entered the bedroom shortly after 11 p.m. and discovered the bodies of Snider and Dorothy. And each one was killed by a single bullet. Both bodies were nude because he had just raped her. According to the police timeline, Snider had shot Dorothy that afternoon within an hour of her arriving at the house, then committed suicide approximately 1 hour after the murder. So I don't know whether whether that was part of his plan or whether he spent an hour. Who knows what happened in that hour?
We'll never know what was going through his mind.
So sometime after midnight in the early hours of August 15th, the private detective telephoned Playboy Mansion and told Hugh Hefner that Dorothy had been murdered. Hugh Hefner then called Paul, the one she was having an affair with or a relationship with, and he collapsed after hearing the news and had to be sedated because at that point, they were in a loving relationship. And
he was so close to getting away.
This is what Peter, her partner, said about her. Dorothy Stratten was as gifted and intelligent an actress as she was beautiful, and she was very beautiful indeed, in every way imaginable, most particular in her heart. She and I fell in love during our picture and had planned to be married as soon as her divorce was final. And Dorothy's body was cremated, and the remains are at the Westwood Village Memorial Park Cemetery in LA. The epitaph on Dorothy's grave marker includes a passage chosen by Peter from chapter 34 of the Ernest Hemingway novel, A Farewell to Arms. And 3 years after the murder, the author's granddaughter, so Ernest Hemingway's granddaughter, Mariel Hemingway, played Dorothy in the film Star 80, which was a biopic about her and Snider. And it's a really sad story. I
want someone to speak about me like that, not after I've been brutally murdered by an ex, but
it's like all the stories. If someone's life is cut short, and there's so many sad elements.
And I know we've been really bitchy about her mum, but her mum's probably spent a long time kicking herself after that.
Yeah. And it's easy for these things to happen. A young girl taken in by an older guy, things get carried away, you try to get it. I mean, in no way do I have any judgment for Dorothy, because also the other thing is, look how much she achieved, several films. And I mean, before the age of 20,
What did we do before the age of 20? I didn't even finish the degree.
God, I can barely tie my shoelaces. But yeah, and when you research somebody and or research a case and you really grow to like that person because you watch their interviews, not a single person had anything bad to say about her, and whether somebody's a good or a bad person, I'm not saying that somebody deserves to die less because they're good, but probably. But yeah, it's just really sad. All the elements of her being so young, her being so naive, her being so talented, her being so
close to getting out of it.
Yeah,
that's also heartbreaking.
Exactly, that's tragic.
But that's the sad thing, isn't it? Like, if you are in an abusive relationship, you're more at risk, sadly,
after you split up with them,
when you're trying to get away, when you're pregnant, I think is another one, and when your relationship changes, such as when you get married. So like, even the things that you think would make the relationship better, stronger, whatever. But yeah, definitely when you're trying to get away.
I hate those stories. I mean, I hate most of the stories, the cases we cover, but it's that whole thing of your life can change in a blink of an eye. You can do all the right things, and she was doing all the right things, getting out of it in a good relationship. Could do even trying to give him settlement money and to go speak to him in person instead of letting the solicitors deal with it out of decency. You can do all the right things. Bad shit can happen, and that's what I fucking hate. Okay, so my sources: Pop Sugar, Global News, ABC News, allthat'sinteresting.com, ABC News again, and Fox News, and a podcast, and I can't remember the name of it. It was a good one.
Right. Yeah. Well done for quoting your sources.
Yes, I quote my sources because Dee told me off that I got to quote my sources.
You do. And preferably send them to me in an email or upload them to our G Drive so I could
Oh
put them in
yeah.
the show
Oh,
notes.
G Drive. Fucking hell, G Drive. You know when you can I just say, and I know that
Are you going to go on a 20-minute rant about G Drive? Because I can tell you now it won't be interesting to our listeners. I'm cutting this.
I know that our listeners are going to understand this.
Some of them, I'm sure, use G Drive no problem. So go ahead.
No. G Drive's not the issue. Using somebody else's organizational system. That's a fucking issue, right? You know
Just
how
rearrange it. I'm happy for you to rearrange it how your mind works.
I'm just making a general point about how, like, you know
That's
how
true.
we
I'm
all
the same with Excel. If someone else makes an Excel spreadsheet, no, I will start from scratch and do it better.
yeah. It's like, for example, somebody organizes your files and folders in a certain way that makes perfect sense to them, and it's like fucking calculus to you. Remember, even in teaching, you try to teach somebody else's lesson, it's like another language. Anyway, that's an aside, but I want to know if anyone else has the same issue.
We're not doing a People's Pulse on G Drive.
No,
Sorry.
we're not. But can I just say, People's Pulse, which we're moving on to now, can you do the People's Pulse theme tune?
People's Pulse.
Okay, so People's Pulse. Interestingly, when we did shit and puke stories, we had a whole lot of submissions, which tells me everything I need to know about our wonderful listeners.
A lot of bodily fluids. Well done, people.
Yeah, that seemed to be a popular People's Pulse. And to be honest, I did fucking love it. I did love this.
It was great.
But this week we thought, okay, like we did talk about last 2 episodes. Oh my God, how much lower can we go? We are talking about pissing in pools, shitting yourself, puking. And then, I was like, what have you become?
And puking on yourself.
Yeah. And I just thought, we got to raise the standards a little. We got to raise the standards.
Did we go too highbrow?
Did we have any submissions? No, we did not. But what did I learn from our listeners? That let me tell you the question. Let me tell you the question first. Did you do the theme tune?
Yeah, I already did it.
Okay, did the theme tune.
Well, post D will do it before. Yeah.
Post-production D, your future self will do it. Okay, so the question this week was, what is your worst fashion mistake? Yeah.
Great.
So what I learned through the lack of submissions, and we do have a few, is that people either think they haven't made fashion mistakes, and they're very proud of their fashion history, as you should be. We should never look back and be ashamed. Or
it's a learning curve.
Or people just thought it was a boring fucking question, and maybe we need to do a People's Pulse, or we need to do a poll on socials about what you want us to do more of in the People's Pulse, because it seems to be that everyone else has as vulgar and dirty a mind as we do and wants to talk about piss and shit. So maybe we need to rethink the strategy and go back to that.
Yeah.
Now, our dear friend Isla.
Do you want to do ours first?
Yeah, tell me yours.
No, because remember,
the end. I like it when we do ours.
All right, okay.
Yeah. It's like more thinking time. Okay, so I asked Isla, and Isla's like, "Oh, I've got one from a bad taste party." No, that doesn't count.
That's you knowing that you're dressing that.
Yeah, no. I said no. I said try harder. So I got to check if she messaged back. Let me see. Did she message back?
Probably not.
No, she's too busy opening a fucking shop. Oh no, she said no. Had one, then I'm perfect. Okay. So no, she only had the bad taste party. I'm not even going to read it out, Isla, because
doesn't count.
You didn't understand the assignment this time. But we'll let her off because she's busy opening up a fucking shop in the middle of York. That's a lot of work. So,
True crime and crime novel bookshop. So keep an eye out. Criminally Good Books.
Criminally Good Books York on Instagram. So then we had a few more.
Please tell me, Susie.
Of course, Susie. Susie does not let us down. And we had also our other wonderful...
at least one Karen.
Yes. We had our wonderful Coventry.
Lucy B. Okay, yeah.
Lucy B did not.
Oh, well, she's pretty fucking stylish. Like,
Lucy B is a beautiful person inside and out. Amazing dress sense. She shares the love of Skims, Kim Kardashian's clothing brand. She looks amazing. She's one of these people like you that gets better every year somehow. But she's got these fucking weird shoes. And I know she won't mind me saying this because she showed me, we have this thing where for the last 15 years, we're talking about like, what are you gonna wear? What are you gonna wear? When you go out. And we had this joke like 15 years ago about when we went out, what are you gonna wear? And it would always be like jeans and a skanky top,
Yeah. What else is there? What else was there in the 2000s?
What else is there still?
Yeah.
Although I did recently buy some PVC trousers like I had 20 years ago. And I'm thinking, where the fuck am I going to wear these? Who do I think I am? I just go to the gym. They work. I pick up the kids. Where am I going to wear fucking PVC trousers? I don't know. But anyway,
I just bought some as well. Well, they're kind of
crime con. Let that be our crime con outfit.
Yeah, wet look leather, vegan leather ones. Love them.
I wish that's going to be what we're going to wear. Okay, so Lucy B won't mind me saying this because this one time she was going for a night out. It was like a few months ago, and I was like, "What are you wearing?" She showed me a really nice picture of what she's wearing, and she has these monstrosities on her feet. She's wearing this really sexy outfit and like latex trousers with fucking like shoes that look like space rockets. I was like, Lucy, you're too pretty to wear these shoes. But anyway, she won't mind me saying that.
It wasn't her getting to the venue shoes?
That was part of the outfit. Look, she can pull, she's pretty. She can pull off funny shoes.
Yeah. They just look quirky and cute on her, to be honest.
In defense of Lucy B, they were Steve Madden shoes.
I don't know how much of a defense that is, but go on.
Okay, so Lucy B didn't make a submission.
But you're going to share this picture of the shoes with me, aren't you?
No, but I'll put it on socials. Okay,
okay. As long as I see it.
We've got, Susie, I love you. She has made an effort.
Oh my God, pictures?
Yes, I'm looking at pictures of Susie looking so cute. There's one, we're going to post on socials, one of Susie. Oh my God, looking like in her Sunday best, playing a little Yamaha keyboard, and there's a voice note. Oh my God. And then there's a picture of what I think is her and her sister. Okay, let me read this out. She says, I mean, what in God's name am I wearing? I look like a 65-year-old secretary. What on earth were the adults in my life thinking? Susie, you look so cute. Okay, then she says, she showed me another picture of her and her sister. She said, I'm the little one who put me in that dress, and what the hell had I walked through with those socks? I'm assuming the socks are, yes, very muddy. And then I said, my sister and I always had matching outfits. The worst thing was, because I was the youngest, I knew I'd be wearing that shit for 2 years.
We had matching outfits. So our mom, bless her, she makes amazing clothes. Crystal Couture on Instagram. But she used to make us matching like tracksuit.
Yeah, tracksuit. It was all about the tracksuit. She'd make us matching
tops and bottoms. So our tops and our bottoms matched, and then they matched each other. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my God, we had some cool like tracksuits back in the day that she made. Okay, she left a voice note. I fucking lovely. I love this woman. Oh, there's no sound. Okay, don't think she meant to voice note. I was a 1 second voice note, but oh my God, they are so cute, those pictures. We're gonna post them on socials. Need to ask her permission.
Yeah,
but we're gonna post them on socials. Then our amazing Karen, Coventry Karen, she says, I've got too many to mention. I have managed to find a picture of myself having a fun day out at Warner Brothers Studios. I look like Cedric Diggory. Do you know who that is?
No. Do you?
I look like Cedric Diggory threw up on me as I was Hufflepuff themed, and I had on a god-awful pair of nasty Uggs. Honestly, I don't know.
He's a Harry Potter character.
Okay, yeah. Anyways,
wait, you're cutting out. Can you squeal that again?
I looked at her outfit. I thought there is nothing wrong with that outfit. Look at our Coventry Karen.
Oh, she looks so cute.
Yeah, I love an Ugg boot, but you know what? I want to see what you... Oh, and then she said, shell suits. Remember them? Yes. Our dad still wears a shell suit.
Wears them. That's his casual wear.
Yeah.
His super casual wear is his kimono, which he'll just lounge around in.
And his semi-casual, smart cash, is a safari suit.
Yeah, and then formal is like a full-on suit. Yeah, those are his 4 different outfits.
She said, shell suits. I had a vile one. It was purple and voluminous with pink, blue, and orange, and yellow in the shoulders and thighs.
Sounds cool.
If you did not wear a shell suit in the 80s...
Where were you in the 80s?
That was me.
Can I just say, that sounds like the shell suit they've just released, Adidas, with Korn, Jonathan Davis. You remember how he always used to wear?
Yeah.
They just re-released his like purple one.
Is he still working with Adidas? Oh my God, that guy, yeah. Korn, they used to always wear Adidas. Okay, just aside, I've got like 5 more minutes, so we've got 5 minutes to tell us. Yours. Tell me yours.
No, we decided to do each other, remember? So I had to think long and hard.
Shit. You got one for me.
Yes. When you used to fake tan far too much, I have to say,
far too much.
Your clothing was always chef's kiss. Because you were very good at like following fashion, but knowing what fits you and what looks cool on you, and you always buy my clothes.
What era are we talking about?
Huh?
What era are we talking about?
Like when you used to live in the Chiswick flat already.
Okay, so in my 20s.
Yeah, in your 20s.
Much fake tan, D. But I do remember you always, I could tell you fake tan because your hair and your skin's the same color.
No, because it is too much fake tan when you literally look like an Oompa Loompa, when you're not a human color anymore.
Oh, yeah. So that's
that's your biggest one. Because I'm not counting, I actually don't want to count anything from anyone's childhood, because that's different. Yeah. And also, I know I did this, so I'm going to include this, but I think you did it as well. Hair crimping, never a good look.
Oh, Dee, we did it in the 90s, though.
I know, but that
was okay. Good. I remember crimping a cheese sandwich with a hair crimper just to toast it. But that was okay. I mean, do you know what?
Everyone was doing it.
Yeah. When you look back, you're like, what the fuck was I thinking? But at that time, it was cool. Yeah. So was it uncool? No, because at that time it was cool.
Okay.
Well, I'm actually really flattered that you think fake tan is my worst fashion crime, because I always thought I looked fucking amazing. I would still be so fake tanned now if I had the time for personal grooming. I remember for my wedding, I think I had like 6 1-hour sessions on the sunbed, and I said to her, I want to look Cuban. That's what I'm going for. I showed her a picture of Eva Mendes. I was like, I want to be this color. That's what I want to be.
You know, Ross and Friends, when he accidentally does that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. Makes your teeth look white. Makes you look skinny. Who doesn't like to be tanned, you know? Okay, so that's mine. Is that what you said mine is? Okay.
Yeah. You're going to tell me my jeans from last week where
God.
I hadn't even got through the front door and you shouted from your sofa, don't wear those out in public again.
Yeah, look, I've said this to you.
Just my loungy jeans.
People have said this to you before. I'm not the only one who said this. Isla has said this to you too, Dee. I'm sure Isla put it probably even less delicately than I did when you wore those in Dublin. She did.
Why? What did she
say? You're too pretty for those fucking jeans. But honestly, can I just say to our listeners, Deanna's got these jeans that literally, it looks like she's working on the docks. You know, they do nothing for you, Dee. You are too cute.
You can post the picture on socials and ask.
Do
a poll, yes or no.
I've got so many pictures of you wearing those jeans, because it's almost like you're trying to taunt me with you've got so many nice clothes, and then do you like those jeans?
They're my lounging jeans. They're my not tight lounging
jeans. I have strong opinions about this. Hold on. Can I just say, as someone who only wears soft clothes, comfy, loungy clothes, because now I have a life where I can wear whatever the fuck I want, you know? There's no point in my life I need to look formal. Twice a month I have to go on Zoom. I wear a nice top. I am wearing less slouchy shit, pajamas on the bottom half. But anyway, my point is, I have a theory. People who wear jeans to relax in are psychos. There's nothing more uncomfortable than jeans. There's nothing comfortable about jeans. There's nothing comfortable about jeans, even stretch jeans. They feel like cardboard and sandpaper. Even when they have an elasticated waistband, why would anyone choose to lounge around in jeans? As soon as I get through the front door, I put my pajamas on. But like when people say, oh, these jeans are so comfy, no, they're not. How are jeans comfy? So that's my theory. I think like
that's a strong opinion, right?
Yeah. I'd love to know how the fuck someone would be comfy wearing something so uncomfortable. And jeans look great.
Are you wearing the wrong kinds of jeans?
Maybe I'm too fat for jeans. Maybe I'm wearing jeans that are too small. But you know, like, I was
gonna say, they shouldn't be as bad as you're describing. You have to go quickly. So tell me what mine is, or is it actually those jeans?
Tell you quickly what yours are. Okay, so Dee, you sent me a picture just the other day of this monstrosity that looked like a Christmas jumper that our grandmothers would be insulted if anyone thought that they'd knitted. Why you bought that? What did you
Which one was it?
The one you said you got on eBay. What the fuck did you type in?
That is a fucking pajama jumper.
Good.
The blue one with the pink.
You were wearing it today when I spoke to you, and I think you just come home.
It's over there. It's like literally, and
I think you
also,
went out wearing it today.
yeah, I did because I had to spend all day out in a fucking at a
It's not
farm.
bad. I mean, why you didn't look at this?
This is the one that you said. Did you rate a Gap Kids?
What
Now,
did you type in to find that?
extra thick woolen jumper. No, but that one is not an outdoor jumper.
One time
And
you pick. So okay,
can we just say that for the last couple of months I haven't had heating in my house?
Well, that's bad considering your brother-in-law is a heating engineer.
I know, but I actually genuinely didn't even properly realize until yesterday when I could see my breath in my living room, and I was like, "Yeah, this is bad."
So Dee, you dress like what I would describe as dopamine dressing.
Yes, that's exactly it.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. I describe.
And if you don't know what that is, search on Instagram for hashtag dopamine dressing.
Oh, yeah,
it's really fun
to look at it. But like, I dress like what I would describe like as a Steve Jobs kind of wardrobe. Like I wear black and I wear white. If I'm adventurous, I might wear denim, but I don't like color at all. You know, maybe in summer I've got like one.
And it's weird because I'm normally all black, but then when I do color, I do fucking color.
Yeah. I just don't do color at all. But Deanna loves. Yeah, you dress like dope. Like a
I like outfits that I literally look at myself in the mirror and it makes me laugh. Like that's the kind of clothes I want to wear.
And then you were wearing this jumper with a frog on it, and then one time you came over dressed like Cyndi Lauper, wearing this raw skirt and like leggings, and this was only a few months ago. I mean, your fashion choices are, you know, eccentric. I'm not gonna say that. Eccentric. It's what makes you know. But I did have a story from back in the day. I remember this. I was such a weird kid because I remember when I was 9, I asked our mom, who makes clothes, like this is her thing. She's got a business, you know, making clothes. Designing clothes. I was like, I really want.
But whatever you do, don't place an order because she'll freak out about having an order.
Oh God, when you place an order, she's like, oh what? I don't want to sell. What? Anyway, whatever.
I don't have the time to take down your fucking business. Have
the hustler gene that we do. But so when I was 9, I really wanted these bell bottoms. God knows where a 9-year-old in the 90s gets the idea that they want bell bottoms. But like, I'm guessing they weren't even in fashion, even though things go back in fashion every 20 years, right? So they should have been in fashion, but they weren't. Anyway, so I got her to make me these bell bottoms. And I remember thinking I was the shit wearing these bell bottoms. And I remember walking around Whiteley's. Remember, any London Arab, that's where you used to spend your weekends. Whiteley's.
Yeah, before Westfield, there was Whiteley's.
Yeah, and it was like the home of the Arab community in London. You go Whiteley's. Mm-hmm. Anyways, I remember walking around Whiteley's, age 9, and that day I went to go see Forrest Gump, and it was a 12-rated movie. And I was like, I am the shit in these fucking blue bell bottoms.
Living my best life. Going to see a 12 film in my bell bottoms.
Because you know how when you got into film for like older people, you're like, yes, in my blue bell bottoms. So, I mean, looking back now, I'm thinking, why the fuck? What kind of weird kid wants bell bottoms? But anyway.
Not the weirdest thing you did.
We did say we were going to ban stories from when you were a kid because, you know, whatever. But yeah, I enjoyed that chat. I like talking about like retro clothes and nostalgia. We like to talk about nostalgic shit, don't we?
Yeah.
I like that.
Maybe we should do like favorite outfit from childhood, teenage years.
Well, yeah, I'm going to do a poll because I have a feeling our listeners, they love something down and dirty.
Look, it's called the People's Pulse because it's all about what the people want. So let's ask them.
And let's give the people what they want. That's what we're all about. We're giving. That's what we're
here. We're the voice for you guys.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was...
help us help you. Help us
People's
help
Pulse. People's Pulse. All right. That was fucking awesome. Love our listeners. Susie.
Oh, Susie.
Karen.
Susie and Karen are one of us. Me and you, and Susie and Karen, we're like this. We could be related, huh? You know?
Yeah. Love you guys. Love you all. And love you.
Our sexy listeners so fucking much.
God, they're so fucking hot.
And I love you.
I love you too. I'm not going to call you sexy because that feels weird because you're my actual sister. But you're very attractive to your husband.
You're too pretty for those Docker jeans.
Thanks. I'm gonna dress up. Do you know? Because there was one time where I was wearing big black boots I had a cable knit jumper and I was wearing a fucking beanie hat, and I literally looked like I just finished my shift on the docks.
Yeah.
I'm going to dress up like that and post it. Send it. Well, I won't post it. I'll send it to you to post because that's how we work.
Okay, bye. Gotta go. Love you, love you, love you, love you, love you. Mwah, mwah.
Bye.
Hey there. Thanks for being a loyal listener.
Do you need a new website or want to boost your social media performance? Or do you hate podcast editing? You've tried optimizing your website and social media channels, but you're still not getting the listeners, downloads, and engagement you want?
We, the Safier sisters, love helping people with tasks that they hate. We know a thing or two about podcasts, websites, and social media, and we love working with other podcasters and business owners.
So why not head over to switchbladesisterssocialclub.com and go to our Work With Us section. We believe in collaboration over competition. A rising tide raises all ships.
Bye!